Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel. Wishing you a happy and healthy start to this nice Monday morning. It's a new week. It's a new opportunity. Probably a lot of new opportunities as Bitcoin does hit that $23,300 target that we had from like the last month and a half to 2 months now based off the 5-day time frame. So I want to follow up on that, what that means for the greater picture of things, and then the low-term time frames as well, as there's a few things to be aware of right there as well. Anyways, starting off here, I should also, before I forget, remind you that if you find this content valuable, if you find this content in some way useful, please do consider liking and subscribing, maybe even hitting the derp and hurt button as well. And of course, Bybit has their good old shill button in the bottom as well. That does offer 0% on maker fees for derivative contracts. So I actually do think that's a rather good promotion, worthy of attention, especially if you're a more active trader. I believe only my link is available for that. All right, sweet. Let's start it off right over here. 5-day time frame chart. Obviously, if you've been on this channel for a while, this is a lot of repetition, but there are still things to be aware of here as we come into this next period closure. For those of you who have not been here, well, basically it is 5-day volatility represented by this indicator, the BBWP indicator, getting down to extreme lows, which are defined as anything below 15 percentile or more. Well, naturally, the expansion phase that follows after that, because it's mathematically, certain essentially, has led to an average move of about 42.35% over the course of 37 days almost. And here's the min max, and here's the lowest and highest results of those, and the first standard deviation analysis of that as well. I've also coupled that with the direction of the stochastic oscillator, which has actually been perfect in getting the direction of the volatility expansion for the past 5 years. I do not expect that relationship to always hold true, but in this case, it has worked out yet again. So until it doesn't, well, fair enough. Anyways, right now, over the next period, 5 days stochastic oscillator remains pivoted to the upside as long as Bitcoin's closing above $17,000. So it's got a little bit of room for error there, I guess. And then also it has broken officially on that last closure the trend line that has been governing the major highs going back to August of 2021, connected with the all-time highs at $69,000, and then again the bull trap rally that we did see to $49,000 in April of 2022. So ultimately, what does this essentially say, and where does this kind of put us within the overall map of the territory that we've been looking at for a while now? Well, from the signal given to where we're at right now, there has been about 40% move, 39.5% move over the course of, we're going to be on 20 days now in the next two days, so on the next closing basis. So on average, this signal has taken about 37 days to play out. So it's a little bit over half now, or after the next few days, it'll be a little bit over half of the average days that we expect. So I'd say that it's still a bit of an outlier, meaning that it's likely or it's reasonable to say that this rally probably goes on for longer. That does not mean that short-term timeframes can't pull back. We'll talk about that soon enough. We've gotten basically to the bottom end, or we've basically gotten very close to the average move now at 42.35%. So if it is going to take another leg, I'd be looking somewhere around the top side of the first standard deviation, which is also rather close to the actually highest result that we've seen on this one thus far. And so that would give us, a presumed area of interest, somewhere around here at low $25,000 territory. If this one does continue, which again, we're still looking like another 15 days on average, somewhere around there, like early February to mid-February, something like that would kind of make sense. And this signal is viable and active as long as 5-day stochastic oscillator is remaining to the upside, and the data is still within the context of this, which it is. So I do look at that as very much relevant. Now, that is not to say that the short-term timeframes can't pull back in the short term, which is fucking redundant. Apologies, but yeah, let's go over and check out the short-term timeframes here. Let me reference my notes just to make sure that I'm on track with everything. Yeah, there we go. And first and foremost, well, maybe not foremost, but something that I think just deserves a little bit of attention is the daily for CME. The daily white moving average right here is a 200 simple moving average, and we have gotten incredibly close to it. It is currently at 23,150, and so usually around that level, you're probably going to get a little bit of a pullback. You're going to get a little bit of a whiplash around that region. And while it hasn't necessarily hit that yet on CME, I would imagine that if we do see one more move higher, probably does provide a little bit of a short-term pullback. As far as the short-term timeframe ranges go, we can see over here on the 4-hour HPDR indicator that the blue 50% of historical returns, range highs and range lows, which has been treating us incredibly well, got the last consolidation over here incredibly well, as well as the trending moves, does show range high at 23,250. That sounds very similar to the daily that we just looked at for CME, and to the downside about 22,000 bucks. I do think to the downside, you could probably be more aggressive with resolving the range to the downside with any sort of a closure below Sunday's wick low, which is 22,300 on spot price action. Going back into it over here, it should also be known that as far as the higher term timeframes, or as far as basically all timeframes, the weekly stochastic oscillator, which just closed last night, continues to the upside above 17,000 bucks. The daily will also be pivoted to the upside above 22,400, basically. Not super far away from current price action, and it is in a critical region right here. But as of right now, probably one more push higher before anything else. So I would say that Bitcoin likely to try one more move higher and then a pullback. 12-hour time frame also going to be pivoted to the upside above 22,150. 6-hour time frame is also pivoted to the upside and playing out this trend line regression over here. And we'll continue the upside above 21,500 on a closing basis. 4-hour time frame also is going to be pivoted to the upside at 21,650. Elsa's slamming doors because she hates this. She hates upside. And in the hourly is flippy floppy here. Will turn down below 22,800. So what does that all align with? Very, 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 very short term, probably a little bit more sideways. Medium term, maybe one more try to the upside. And then the question is, does Bitcoin close above the range high right here at 23,250 on a 4-hour time frame? If it does, very important point coming up. That sounded really fucking arrogant. But my point is that if it does, at that point, I would be looking for the next rally up somewhere between 24,200 to that right bold number of 25,200. Kind of playing out, I guess, the next leg of this setup over here. I do think that would be kind of a big stretch, to be honest with you, simply because I do think it'd probably be more like maybe one more short move up, maybe into the shallow 24th, and then a pullback. You can see that on stochastic momentum. We're in extremes on almost all time frames right now, so it really wouldn't take too much to get pullbacks, and keep those pivots in mind, because if those pivots are hit, pullback more likely first. And if you do see a closure below yesterday's wick low, at that point, I'd be looking for a nice sweep down somewhere around 21,200. But ultimately, another hopefully important or salient point here is that the higher term time frame rally is still alive and still very much bullish, and at least as far as I look at it, as long as Bitcoin's above the 382 fib retracement here, which we don't even know if this is the right level to take it off of just yet, because I mean, we haven't seen the rally stop just yet. But that would be 20,350 at current price. Personally speaking, like I said, I do think that Bitcoin makes one more try higher, probably around these numbers, at least 23. I wouldn't say at least, but likely 23,250. Yeah, so that's more like 20,500 for base. Yeah, that looks a little more right as well to me. And the higher that it goes, well, the more shallow that we probably expect that pullback, I suppose. If it gets up to the $24,000 number, then probably looking at a pullback back down to like mid 21s, low 22s, something like that. And at that point, we'll come back to it yet again. So that's kind of how I'm looking at the market as of right now. Short term, probably one more try to the upside. The question is, again, does it close above 23,250 or not? If it fails to, then I imagine that all of the stochastic momentum oscillators that we went through on these timeframes over here will turn down. You'll get the correction from here and probably head back down below 22,000 bucks, down to low 21s. If it does close above, then yes, very likely a move up into the mid, let's say 24s, maybe even make some move towards 25. And then we'll pick it up where we left off right there. I think that's a good place for me to leave off on this particular video as well. I think I did all the right shilling. Did I? Don't forget to like and derp and subscribe. And if people really need to be told to like, and subscribe, probably shouldn't be subscribing anyways, man. It's like, you should also jump off a bridge. It's like, what? Okay, he said it on the internet. Don't fucking do that, by the way. There are people who get addicted to drinking laundry detergent, I found out, actually. So It is an interesting thing. Bybit, yeah, we got that. And yeah, I think that's a good place maybe leaving off. As always, want to be wishing you the best in a more sincere tone. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.